The fact that you don't care that the president of the United States called Barack Obama and his wife apes, obviously he calls all the African American apes. If that doesn't bother you and you want to continue to rest, then be my guest. I mean, that is diabolical to all your people, honestly.
I can't believe this shit. It's the emphasis on the apes that you keep doing for me. That tells me a lot about your character. But I digress. The nerve and audacity you have to sit there and talk about we don't give a fuck about our people. We give a fuck about our people. That's why we're not going outside. The ancestors have spoken. They told us to sit down because they know that if we go out there in the streets, they're going to unalive us. They're unaliving white people right now. What the hell you think they're going to do to black people? You think we going to go outside because the orange buffoon said something racist? We're not going outside. We are resting. We don't give a fuck what that orange buffoon says and what you say. We are resting. Period. What the fuck? Y'all are tripping. 400 years of blood, sweat, and tears that black people have given to this country. And then you want to get at us because we want to rest? If you don't go sit your ass.
I mean, that is diabolical to all your people.
Now, real quick, what's diabolical is that somebody is always trying to spin the narrative of how black Americans, indigenous Americans should feel about what others have to say, according to how we should feel, how we should think, what we should say, what we should do. One thing about it, the narrative being spent on how we should do those things is over, my dear. Because him doing that, the president saying that the Obamas look like gorillas and monkeys and stuff like that, we know that's not true. And the fact of the matter is, for years, we've been fighting and doing all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't y'all problem. So us getting out there in the street because of what somebody got to say, it's just not our problem. It's just not our problem. And that's for real. And this is not to throw a jab at you, but I think you got this one wrong, boo. You know? When we sit down and say we resting, then we wrong. If we up and we fighting, we wrong. We just want to be left alone. Bottom line. So yeah. It's just not our problem. Yep.
Apes.
I bet that felt good, saying it like that, huh? It was very dramatic. I digress, Latina Huggy. I'm going to go ahead and just get to it, okay? Stop pointing the finger away from you, all right? And I just got 3 examples here, all right? I use Ritalin therapy for these situations. I'm going to use this book, okay? This is where the idea of black people being connected.
Hey, what's up, black people? How you doing? I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching me from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Jedic Stories, and welcome to the today's segment. I'm just trying to address an issue, and I'm seeing an Hispanic woman trying to sell fear to black people. But all I like to say is that there is nothing that black Americans are saying for the first time. You see, everything that you see is happening to them. It has always been happening to them. And at least for a person who doesn't understand the black history, will speak the way these Hispanic women spoke. Now, this is what is happening. This Hispanic woman, she's trying to say that, just recently the Trump's racist rhetoric towards Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, yeah, it led a lot of black people mad, and black people talked about it, definitely. So he's trying to tell black people that black Americans are next because black Americans are not joining all these the groups, Hispanics, white people, to join them to protest. I want to say one thing, and probably some people might not understand this. There is nothing new that is yet to happen to black Americans that I trust and believe that has not happened to them. How many times Black Americans have been threatened? But now this one time that Black Americans are for the longest time understanding and seeing their worth, everyone now is trying to sell fear to Black Americans. I'm saying that stay on your ground, Black people, because we'll have more and more and more and more people that will try to bring fear to you so that you can go on the street, so that you can march on the street. And let me ask, the last time Black people march on the street, I never saw any positive thing. Okay, that was positive thing. But again, especially when Black people did this for other people, I've never seen Black people gain out of it anything. All I just seen Black people get is blood, tear gas, those toxic waters, the orange blue thing. I mean, the Agent Orange thing that mostly they use when people protest, and so many things and so many things. So I'm not saying like this is something which is here to happen to Black people for the first time. Black people have been succumbed to a lot of racism in the United States, and so I really don't know. Anyway, just tell me what you think about this video, even before jumping right into it. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter, Generic Stories. And if you're tuning for the first time, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel. I don't know why YouTube keep on unsubscribing people to my channel, but keep on subscribing to my channel, brothers and sisters, so that we can all get to learn from all these concepts. So until then, let's get into it. I'm gonna be back.
Two monkeys come from. Okay, this is Peaches Camper's illustration. This is, I think, a chimpanzee, someone over there, black person, and this is a statue. Go figure. Scientists using a statue. Whatever. I digress. That's the myth of white supremacy. They use statues for actual representations of themselves. Fake. And we can read here that he insisted on the unity of people instead of a division. But the smart honkers said, nope, they're next to each other because they're related. And then that is actually what all this monkey business is built off of. It's always been a projection. Every time. Okay? Did you know Bigfoot is legally protected in Washington? Did you know that? Because he's white. White people are protected in the United States. Bigfoot's protected in Washington. It's your cousins. And I believe this is the monkster of the honky. I call it the para-honky monkey. Okay? Do you know what nitpicking comes from? Nitpicking comes from monkeys picking the lice out of their hair. Actually, I think it comes from the humans. But the monkeys do it too. And humans also had to pick the lice out of their hair. It was like a favorite pastime. Okay? Next. I know what you're saying. I'm not white. Well, you are a version of the honkies. Okay? But there is a very important part here you need to see. The American settlers, the honkies, were encouraged by the Mexican government to marry Tejano women. Would you like to know why? Blanqueamiento. Y'all embraced it. The whiting out. No, socially, black people and Mexican, Hispanic people have shared community together. But this actually shows that we are not the same. Okay? Mexicans were white. I don't know this type of whitecosis you guys are in, but I'm going to tell you this. When I lived in Phoenix and I had friends down in Maryville, I have never been called the N-word with a hard ER more than I had with Mexican people in Phoenix. Okay, they called me the N-word more. Can you imagine? And you want me to go fight for them? Latina honky, please. Okay. You're welcome for this history lesson. It's free, by the way. Go ahead and donate for your education.
I get DMs like this on the daily. The daily. Do you know why this whole black people monkey thing is a thing? If you don't, stay. Even if you do, still stay. Because I'm about to explain to you why. Let us travel back in time to the 17th century. Long story short, there was this dude named Isaac Lapeyre, French dude obviously, and he popularized this theory of polygenism. In short, it's this theory of human origin that every race has a different speciation / point of origin, as monogenism is a theory that suggests that we all come from one common ancestor. So Isaac did his racist little thing, and the theory of polygenism reached the height of popularity in mid-19th century-ish. It was particularly popular in France and the United States. Quick side note, originally polygenists believed that races were products of separate divine creation. But then Darwin came in and did his little thing. You know, Charles Darwin, natural selection, adaptation, speciation, birds, you get the vibes. So polygenists like Isaac, that's Isaac by the way, he kind of ugly, racist, crusty, musty, dusty looking ass. They kind of revamped their theory from an evolutionary perspective and said that each race has a separate and completely different evolutionary history. So then, and here's how it enters into the scientific realm, during the 18th century European Enlightenment era, scientific polygenists use cranial measurements to justify their bigotry. And they use those measurements to display and prove racial inequalities and white superiority. Now we can start talking about Sammy Morton. Because this mother trucker, American physician and founder of the field of craniometry, wrote this book called Crania Americana. Something you can still find and read, by the way. His research obviously focused on skulls, and in one study he focused on the projection of the chin among white people, black people, and chimps. And through this research, he concluded that black people are more closely related to primates, monkeys, chimps, apes, because the protrusion of the jaw was closest to that of primates. Here's the thing though, those measurements back in those days were done in the form of drawings. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, he fudged the results. He skewed the numbers. He made it so that his hypothesis and his racial biases were supported by his research. On top of all that, Sir Morty Mort believed that cranial capacity determined intellectual ability. So he used his craniometric evidence to argue in favor of a racial hierarchy, putting white people at the top and black people at the bottom. And so the notion that black people are like monkeys was born. And you know what's extra funny? A lot of y'all truly believe deep down in your hearts that the things that happened in 17th, 18th century Europe have zero effect on today. The things that 18th century American physicians believed and published has zero effect on today. That's ridiculous. Y'all ever heard of scientific racism, medical racism? Where do you think it came from? These things have very real implications today. Huge shout out to the In Those Jeans podcast. Love this podcast. Watch.
I worked for this child care center a couple years ago, and all of the vanilla women there had a problem with me. Unprompted, unwarranted. I didn't do anything. I just existed, and that bothered them because I didn't kiss their tails. I didn't give them what they wanted. I wasn't a pacifier. If you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it honestly. If you ask me a stupid question, I'm going to ask you a stupider question to show you how stupid you are for asking me a stupid question. That's how I moved. I was always respectful. I never cussed. I never raised my voice. It bothered them that I was not a loud, ghetto chocolate woman. It bothered them. When they would say slick stuff to me, I would say slick stuff back respectfully in a calm tone to where 5 minutes later they're thinking back saying, oh crap, she insulted me. Yeah, trick, because I know how to talk to people. But they wanted me to be loud and ghetto and fit the stereotype. But since I did not, they didn't know how to respond to it. So they tried to say I was creating a hostile work environment. So one day, 2 of them came into my classroom. I had a classroom of my own. Okay, I didn't have an assistant teacher, my classroom of my own. They came in trying to talk to me out the side of their neck. And I said, let me ask y'all this. What did black people do to y'all that hurt y'all so bad? What did black people do to y'all, white people, that hurt y'all so bad to where you make it your life's mission to make my life a living hell? What did we do? Tell me right now. Quick answer. I said, because my kids are asleep, so you got about 30 minutes. If I give you that long, give me an answer right now. Well, that's not what this is about. No. This has everything to do with your viewpoint on black people, because I'm the only black person in this building, but yet I'm the only classroom that the parents are raving about. They love me, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any parent complaints, but everybody else in this building has multiple. My parents are satisfied. The director is satisfied with my work. I get paid well to do my job. I get gifts from all my parents very often. So if that's what you're jealous about, just say it. Are you jealous that I'm better than you? Are you jealous because I do better work than you? Are you jealous because though I've been in this field less than you have, I'm doing better than you? Are you mad that you don't have your own classroom and you've been here for 10 years and I just started 6 months ago and I already have my own class and all my kids love me? Are you mad about that? That sounds like something you need to take up with the director, not with me. But the way you speak to me is like you have a problem with black people. So I ask you again, both of you, what did black people do to you that made it your life's mission to make our lives a living hell? Answer the question. They couldn't answer the question. And they tried to dance around everything. I said, you know what? I'm not having this conversation with you, right? Because you're not answering my questions and we're not going to see eye to eye. So if you feel that I'm creating such a hostile work environment, don't ever talk to me again. Don't come in my classroom again. Don't even speak to my kids again. I don't even want to see your face. Your classroom is 6 doors down. Why are you worried about me? We work in 2 different age groups. You work with infants. I work with preschool. Why are you even thinking about me? Why? Because at the end of the day, if you want pointers, if you want me to teach you, I can teach you. If you're willing to be teachable. But at this moment, I don't want to see, hear, or breathe the same air as you ever again. So get out of my classroom before I actually give you what you want. And I know what you want. So you have 5 seconds to get out before I give it to you. Oh, is that a threat? No, it's a promise. Now you have 3 seconds. Get out. And they left. They left. And I think that further proves, like, y'all really don't know what it is. Y'all don't know what it is. And it's crazy.
A subtle but extremely telling series of events happened over the weekend revolving around race. And what's telling and honestly concerning is how MAGA reacted to it. When Trump posted a video depicting the Obamas as monkeys, that wasn't random imagery. There is deep documented history there. For generations through Jim Crow, and well before that, black people were dehumanized by YT supremacists and racists by being portrayed as monkeys. That's historical fact. That's not my opinion. So the post itself is already disturbing, but what makes it even worse, Trump hasn't apologized and he won't apologize. And when someone with that much influence refuses to acknowledge the harm it does, that's not neutrality, that's permission. Permission for others to keep doing it, to keep dismissing it, and to pretend it's harmless. And that's exactly what happened. MAGA rushed in to downplay it, saying things like it's a joke or you're overreacting or everything's racist now. But contrast that with their reaction to the Super Bowl halftime show. Hispanic culture took center stage. It was unapologetic, performed in Spanish, celebrating the reality of who this country actually is. And suddenly that outrage was loud enough that they felt the need to create an alternative halftime show led by white artists because what they saw didn't represent the culture they believed should dominate. So let's be very clear about what just happened. A historically racist depiction of black people gets minimized and excused, and a celebration of Hispanic culture gets treated like an attack. That tells you everything. This isn't about being too sensitive. It's not about music. It's not about politics. It's about whose humanity gets dismissed and whose visibility feels threatened. So if you're angry when people of color are center stage, and you're also indifferent when people of color are demeaned, that should tell you something about yourself. And it's not confusion. It's either ignorance of unconscious racism or comfort with it. Either way, it's a problem, and you should probably wake up. Remember, folks, boots are for feet, not to eat.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from whatever you're watching this video from. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter G-Dog Stories. A very, very beautiful morning, very, very beautiful day. Let me look time. It's like 10 a.m. exactly. I don't know what's usually with me with time synchronicity. Like I've just checked the time and I realized like it's 10 sharp. Normally when I check time, I do find like it's an exact time. It could be 10, it could be 11, it could be 12, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, but sharp on the dot. So I don't know how it might synchronize to the time. Probably I might be having, so much, I might be delusional, I don't know, but I feel like I'm so much synced with time. I don't know, maybe tell me, because this is something that has been happening to me. When I tell my friends, they tell me, oh, you are so much delusional about this. But then I check time and then they confirm, oh, wow, it is just the exact time that you check. You're always checking time. Like it just happened on the screen. I always just checking time and to let you know what's the time, like from where I am. And I realized that it's 10 a.m. So this is something which happens most of the time, but that's not part of the discussion. This is just my issue, and it just happened on the screen, right? So, just trying to say something. The problem is not even threatening black people that they are next. The problem is where are you always when black people need your help? Now that you're trying to sell fear to black people so that they get on the streets. And black people know, and black people have made it clear that there is nothing good for them on the streets. And you've heard even that black woman say that if white people are killing themselves on the street, how do you think they'll treat a black person? You can tell the magnitude based on systemic issues that have been happening in the United States for the longest time. you can definitely tell that this has become an issue. It is so hypocritical to have people that want help from you, but when you want help from them, they don't give you that. That's one thing that they don't give you. But most definitely, or most of the time, they'll always want help from you. And this is something which is always happening with the white Americans, with the Hispanics. Because when they want something from black people, they'll always get it. They'll try to dupe, manipulate, to make black people go on the streets or to make black people do things to them. Once black people do things to them, now they start showing their true colors. And I mean, I usually say this, and I'm going to continue saying it. A black person doesn't have a friend. A black person doesn't have a friend. The only friend that a black person has is a fellow black person. Do you know why am I saying that? And history has proven this. Any moment, and I'll tell you this as a matter of fact, any moment you start seeing these people say positive things about black people, any moment you start seeing a white person trying so much to say, oh, I got a lot of black friends, I do this. Okay, some of them are genuine, but I'm saying majority of them, like most of the time, you are going to find that there's something at stake that they want from black people. Trust me, you are going to see that. So, I mean, just think about it. Just think about it. Because this is something that has been happening for a while now. This is something that has been there for a while now. So just seeing all these things happening and you are wondering and saying, now, why would you think, oh, what it is there that black Americans have not seen or even experienced? Because of most of these things that you are saying, or most of these things that you refer to, black Americans have seen. How many times have black Americans been portrayed as a chimpanzee or a monkey or on the ape family? So many times. We have seen all those racist videos. It has not started with Trump, with Trump and Obama. It began a long time ago. This is something black Americans have been going through for the longest time. So I don't see anything. Or probably she's talking about deportations. Maybe she's talking about deportations. How many times will black people make it make sense to them that black Americans cannot be deported? So many times black people have proven this. So many times black people have showed this. They have showed them that black people cannot be deported. So I don't know how, I don't know where will these people learn that black people don't need to be fear-mongered, to be gaslighted, so that they can get on the street. Now you understand now you understand the importance of unity. Now you understand that you cannot stand by yourself. Now you understand that you need the black voices. Right now, it's convenient to you that right now you want black people to march for you on the streets. It's so much convenient to you. This is the time that right now it makes sense to you that you need black people to help you do your stuff. You need black people to help you do whatever thing you want them to do. But you need to understand one thing. Black Americans have seen you for who you are. And now it is time you carry your cross. There is an African song, it's a Swahili song that goes, Kila mtu atauchukua mzigo wake mwenyewe. I'll translate it to you. Everybody will carry their cross. A day will come when everybody will fend for themselves. It is time, you Hispanic. It is time, you white people. It is time, all those disrespectful immigrants. to now carry their own cross, to now stand for themselves, to now fight for themselves. White folks are on the street fighting for themselves. It is now time for you to fight for yourselves. Black people, I've been showing you the way. Black people, I've been protesting to you the way. Black people carried their cross. It is now time for you to carry your own damn cross. Isn't that hard? Without rage baiting black people, without gaslighting black people, without fear mongering black people. So it is just time for you. It is your turn. Yeah, as you know, what comes around goes around. What goes around comes around. So please let me know what you think about this video. I'm your host and pray send hygienic stories. But until then, I'm gonna see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.